What's up, y'all? This is Vincanity, and today I wanted to give you a 2020 pep talk for professional dancers and dancers thinking about becoming professionals. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because this year, professional dancers got hit hard. Most of us were unable to work because we perform very social activities. We teach dance classes, we do performances in front of audiences, and unfortunately this year, a lot of that stuff was unable to happen. So first I wanted to share a story that happened to me on my journey to become a professional dancer. This happened around the year 2009, 2010. I was in college, I was teaching and performing professionally in order to pay my way through college, pay my rent, pay my bills. So basically I was going to college from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and after that I was teaching or performing from 4 p.m. all the way until 10. And when I graduated college, I actually got a couple of job offers right away, doing jobs that honestly I didn't really care about, but they paid very good money. So I kind of had a choice. It was either, go with this job that I don't really care about, but it pays me a lot of money, or, follow my dreams and, potentially not really make that much money. To be honest, it was a tough decision because, growing up, I never had money. I never had money to get nice things or, go out and do things. So, saying no to this job was actually kind of a difficult choice. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? This is what's actually gonna make me happy is dancing. I love dancing. And I want to see where I could take this. So I turned down the job. I pushed the classes I was doing in schools harder than I ever had. And that year I was teaching 20-something classes every single week, teaching hundreds of kids. And honestly, I did my best financially than I ever have done. Prior to this year, I was working really, really hard, but honestly, I could have taken a job at McDonald's and made more money than I was. But this specific year, I did my best, and I was super proud of myself for being able to follow that dream. Unfortunately, the dream came to an end real quick. Budget cuts in education in California were being hit hard. Schools were closing down, teachers getting laid off, and the last thing that they were thinking about is a dance class. So I went from teaching 20-something classes a week to 0. And so I was at a point where I pretty much had to start over. And at that point, my biggest concern was actually, how can I continue to share with these kids? So what I started doing is putting videos together, instructional videos, and sending it to these kids through YouTube. At that point, I was teaching at schools, community centers, homeless shelters, and I sent these videos to these kids on a weekly basis. And literally within 1 month, I had 10,000 subscribers. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I just went from teaching a couple hundred kids a week to now 10,000 kids are watching my videos and sending me emails. And I started getting emails from kids from India, from Malaysia, from all different parts of the world, places I've never heard before, asking me, hey, can you help me learn how to dance? So that was actually pretty motivating for me to continue making these videos. And so I started planning and making these video series from the perspective of a dance teacher. It was kind of a new journey for me because I'd never taught online. I'd never made a video before. And so I started learning how to do video. I started learning how to do photography. I started producing these videos. And within a year I had 100,000 subscribers. And it was just crazy because I went from just a couple hundred kids a week to now hundreds of thousands of kids each week. So it was actually a pretty exciting journey to start with. That year for me financially was pretty difficult, mainly because my main source of income, which was teaching and performing, was pretty much gone. And in order to pay my rent, I took a bunch of side jobs just to make ends meet. But slowly but surely, I started picking up more classes, bringing it back, and actually my YouTube channel became a very successful resource that I actually use in my teaching. I actually still use it today. Whenever I teach a class, I'll follow up with a YouTube video, just in case kids go home and they forget how to do it. They have that resource to follow up. The reason why I'm sharing this story is because 2020 kind of feels like how I did back then in 2010, 10 years ago. It kind of feels like the exact same thing. Last year was a really good year for me. I was able to achieve a lot of things I wanted to achieve. And then this year, it kind of hit me hard to where I was teaching, you know, a bunch of classes each week to 0. And just to put that in perspective, 0 classes means 0 income. For a lot of people that I know, and maybe even yourself, we're all in very similar situations where our typical work is gone. We can't do what we usually are used to. So my question for all of you is, what's your next step? What's your next move? In times of struggle, we have a couple of options. 1, we could dwell in our sorrows, or 2, we could make something happen, right? We could find an alternative. We could change up our game plan. We could find something else that we could continue to share our art. We could continue to enjoy what we do. So I want everyone to take a deep breath in, breathe it out, and tap in to your inner hustler. What are you gonna do next? Think about what can you do to change your situation? What can you do to create your future? Most people tend to just sit back and wait for opportunities to come their way. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But the entrepreneurs, the true entrepreneurs, are the ones that are gonna go create that future for themselves, and maybe even create a potential future for other dancers as well. But we have to make the first step. So let's take this time to take a step back, make plans, think of ideas, brainstorm, and come back stronger than ever. We live during an amazing time in history where opportunities are everywhere. 20 years ago, there's very limited opportunities to become a professional dancer, especially if you didn't live in an entertainment city. So again, let's take a step back. Let's dig into our resources. Let's research. Let's figure out what are the next steps for us. Not the next steps for me, but the next steps for you. What are you gonna do next to better your future? What are you gonna do today to create a better tomorrow? Let's take some time, let's revamp, and let's come back stronger than ever. I hope everyone's doing okay, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.